it's Elena, and I'm back again. Yay! Can't believe I'm already on video number 3. Okay, so I'm doing the countdown for the top 100 boy names, the alternatives for them again. And for this video, I'm going to be doing numbers 90 through 86. And just a little quick reminder, these videos are for people that love names that are in the top 100 but maybe want to use something not quite as popular. Go ahead and check out the first 2 videos I did too if you haven't seen them yet. The first name in the countdown today is Kayden. With this spelling, it was at number 90 in 2014. Kayden with this spelling, I suppose you could call it a variant, an English variant of Kayden, C-A-D-E-N, which is a Gaelic name that means battle. Kayden with this spelling entered the top 1,000 boy names in the year 1999, and it's currently at its highest ranking. It's rising and rising, and I could not believe when I saw this spelling in the top 1,000. I thought, okay, I get Aiden names are very, very trendy, they're very, very popular, they're being used all the time, but why this spelling? And I realized it almost certainly has to be because there are a lot of people with the middle name K, K-A-Y, and there are also a lot of people becoming grandparents whose first names are K, K-A-Y. And so I imagine that this spelling would be to honor them. Do you guys know of anyone whose name is spelled Kayden with this spelling that honors a K? Let me know in the comments below. So I briefly mentioned earlier about the Aiden trend. I'm sure anybody in the naming community already knows about this, but names that rhyme with Aiden are insanely popular. There are several names just within the top 100 that end in the Aiden sound. There are several spellings of just about every Aiden name in the top 1,000. And if you're wanting to use an unusual or uncommon name for your child in 2014, do not use a name that ends in the Aiden sound. If you don't care about using an uncommon or unpopular name, go for it. So now I have 3 alternatives for Kayden for you, and the first alternative I have is Kenton. Kenton is an English name that means Kingstown. I really love that meaning. Kenton was in the top 1,000 boy names from the year 1931 to the year 1998, but it has not been in the top 1,000 boy names since. I'm very surprised it's not in the top 1,000 names right now because 2-syllable names ending in the un sound are very, very in right now, and even just 2-syllable names ending in ton are in. I counted it up, and there are 4 names just in the top 100 boy names that end the ton sound, like Easton, Austin, etc. So Kenton Duty is a young actor right now. You might recognize his face. He's one of those actors that's in several things that are out right now, but you don't maybe necessarily know his name, but I think it makes the name definitely usable. There's also a jazz musician named Stan Kenton, so it's kind of a musical name in a way. I think Kenton would be a great alternative for Kayden because they both start with a K. I know a lot of people look for K names specifically because they're not actually very common, at least not legitimate K names, and they're both 2 syllables and they end in the N sound. My second alternative I have for Kayden is Cayman. Cayman is an English name, and it actually refers to a genus of alligator, which is so cool, I think, anyway. Cayman, of course, will remind everyone of the Caribbean Cayman Islands, beautiful place. I actually have some close friends that grew up with a boy named Cayman, otherwise I might not have thought about this as a name, but I think it's brilliant. It fits in so well. Of course, it makes a great Kayden alternative because of its similar look and sound. My last alternative I have for the name Kayden is Kayvan. This name can also be pronounced Kayvan, and it is a Persian name. It's the Persian name for the planet Saturn. I think that is so cool. There's actually an English actor named Kayden, or perhaps Kayvan Novak. I think you guys might recognize him if you Google his face. Of course, Kayvan has that unusual K-A-Y beginning that's not in very many names. So if you're looking to honor a K, instead of using Kayden, you could do this name instead. Also, it just has a very, very similar sound to Kayden, so I think it would make a great Kayden alternative. Alright, the next name in the countdown at number 89 was Bentley in the year 2014. This is an English name that means bent meadow. People, of course, associate it with the vehicle Bentley. This name has only been in the top 1,000 years 1961 and 1962, and then it didn't re-enter again until 2007, and it's risen from 995 in 2007 all the way to number 89 in 2014, so it has jumped really fast. You might associate this name with actor Wes Bentley, who was in the first Hunger Games movie. I'm not personally super keen on this name because it has bent in it, which I don't know. I don't think most of people think of bent as a positive name, but I think most people do love this name because of the Ben nickname possibility. My first alternative I have for Bentley is Bensley, which is an English name meaning Ben's meadow. I actually went to school with a girl whose last name was Bensley, and one of my little girls has the same name as her, so I kind of have a positive association with this name in a way. Harry Bensley, when I googled this name I found this, was the name of the man who tried to walk all around the world. He didn't accomplish it, but I think that's really cool. Bentley, of course, would make a great Bentley alternative because they're only 1 letter apart in spelling and pronunciation. My next alternative I have for Bentley is Benji, which is, of course, a nickname form of Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. Benji is a name that people associate with Benji Madden from the band Green Charlotte. I also think of the movies that came out sometime in the 90s called Benji, about a dog named Benji, but I think of that as a positive association personally. I am really surprised that Benji is not in the top 1,000 names. I actually looked it up, and it was only in the top 1,000 names ever 3 years. 1975, 1976, and 1977. So this is not a popular name at all, which is shocking because I feel like it's a name that everybody has heard before. I think Benji would make a great Bentley alternative because they both have the Ben nickname possibility and end in that E sound. My last alternative for Bentley is Brantley. Brantley means sword meadow. It's a Gaelic name. A lot of people in 2014 will associate Brantley with country singer Brantley Gilbert. I really like a couple of his songs, and I have friends that are just really, really into his music. Brantley was ranked at 120 in 2014, and it only just re-entered the top 1,000 names in 2010 at number 736. And otherwise, it was only in the top 1,000 one other year, 1988. So this is a name that's rising very quickly, and I could see this name entering the top 100 boy names in the next few years. Brantley, of course, makes a great Bentley alternative because they are very similar in sound and feel. Alright, the number 88 name in the year 2014 was Xavier, which is a Basque name meaning new house. A Basque name in the US in the top 100 boy names. I think that is so cool. So a lot of people associate this with Charles Xavier from the X-Men series. I love those movies so much. I haven't read the comics. I'm not much into comics, but I can appreciate them. I personally love the association of Xavier Samuel. He's an actor. I first saw him in one of the Twilight movies, and he is like really gorgeous and super talented. There's also a young Canadian actor named Xavier Dolan. Xavier has been in the top 100 boy names since 1948, and it's actually slowly declining right now, but obviously it got pretty popular first before it started declining. My first alternative I have for Xavier is Javier, which is the Spanish form of Xavier, which of course means new house. I love the name Javier so much. I think it is so gorgeous. It's one of those names that if I could ever convince my husband to use it, I would absolutely use it in a heartbeat. I think of Javier Colon, who won the first season of The Voice in the US. He was incredible. And I also think of Javier Bardem, who is Penelope Cruz's husband. He's an actor as well. Javier was ranked at 216 in 2014, and it's actually always been in the top 1,000 names in the US. Javier would make a great Xavier alternative because they're only one letter apart in spelling, and of course they have the same meaning in origin. My next Xavier alternative I have is Zelon. Zelon is a Greek name that means forest, really cute meaning. Words that end in this name, Zelon, in the US will always have something to do with wood. When I googled Zelon, I found that Zelon is the original Greek word used for the cross that in the Bible, so that can be very meaningful for someone who's a Christian, perhaps. I think that Zelon would make a great Xavier alternative because it's got that X first initial that I think so many people are drawn to Xavier for. My last alternative I have for Xavier is Bouvier. This can also be pronounced Bouvier, and it's a French name that means herdsman, so kind of an occupational name somewhat. So Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, who was married to JFK, her maiden name was actually Bouvier or Bouvier. So that is a really positive association, of course. Bouvier is also a type of dog breed, so this would be great for a dog lover as well. I think that Bouvier would be a great Xavier alternative because they have that similar ending sound, the V-I-E-R sound. At number 87 in 2014 was the name Lincoln, which is an English name meaning lake colony. I think everyone associates the name Lincoln with Abraham Lincoln. I think that it's an extremely amazing positive association, and I totally get why this name is popular. I would absolutely use it if it wasn't so popular. So Lincoln is the capital of Nebraska in the US, so it's a place name. It's also a type of car. There's the Lincoln Memorial, and I actually think it would be really cute if someone named their child Lincoln and they had a Lincoln log themed bedroom. Wouldn't that be adorable? I actually know a girl that I grew up with who named her son Lincoln Jason. And believe it or not, the name Lincoln has always been in the top 1,000 boy names. I was really shocked to hear that because I don't know that I've ever met anybody with Lincoln as a first name besides these kids that are being born in the last few years. My first alternative I have for the name Lincoln is Linden. Linden is an English name that means lime tree hill, so a really cool naturey picture comes to mind with that name. I think that Linden would make a great Lincoln alternative for several reasons. One, of course, being the obvious that Lyndon B. Johnson was the 30th president of the U.S., so Lincoln and Linden are both very strongly associated with presidents. Also, they both are two syllables, starting with L and ending in the un sound. The name Linden has occasionally been in the top 1,000 a few times over the years, but not since the year 1989, so it is totally ready for a comeback. My next alternative I have for Lincoln is beacon. Beacon is an English word that means guiding light. I love that meaning so much. So in the Lord of the Rings books, they have beacons set out to warn everyone who's living in Gondor when there's an attack getting ready to happen. People who love the Lord of the Rings trilogy might think of that association with the word beacon. Beacon is just something that people think of as really positive. It's something that would help guide navigators who are in the ocean to shore. I think this name would be so brilliant as Little Boy in 2014. Beacon is also the name of the town that the TV show Teen Wolf takes place in, and I think Beacon would make a great Lincoln alternative because it has a really similar sound. My last alternative I have for Lincoln is Franklin. Franklin is an English name that means free man, really great meaning again. Of course, everyone thinks of Benjamin Franklin when they think of the name Franklin. He was a very prominent historical figure in the U.S., and I think that Franklin would make a great Lincoln alternative because Lincoln, of course, too, was a great historical prominent figure. They have some similar sounds with that NK sound in the middle. They're both on U.S. money. And Franklin is also associated with the Franklin the Turtle Show. It's a really sweet show. Franklin was ranked at 453 in 2014 and has actually always been in the top 1,000 boy names. And a few times it's actually been in the top 100 boy names. The last name from the top 100 boy names I have for you today is Cooper at number 86, and that is an English name meaning barrel maker. Cooper, it's a name that I don't really like, but I get why it's popular. It's popular because it's a surname name, which is popular, and it's an occupational name, which is popular. My main problem with Cooper is that I have worked in several daycares at elementary schools, and every single child ever calls him Pooper. This isn't just one child or one time. This is every single Cooper I've ever seen. He's always called Pooper. It's funny when they're a baby, but if it carries on past babyhood, it's not very funny. Cooper entered the top 1,000 boy names in 1982, and it's risen until 2010, where it's now slowly dropping. So it might leave the top 100 boy names in the next few years. I think people are loving Cooper so much because of the actor Bradley Cooper. My first alternative I have for Cooper is Calder, which is an English name meaning stream. I really like that meaning a lot. There's a famous American sculptor named Alexander Calder, and this is actually a prominent Scottish clan name. I think that Calder would make a great Cooper alternative because they're both two syllables ending in that ER sound, and they both have the hard C sound at the beginning. My next alternative I have for Cooper is really fun, and that is Copper. Copper is an English name that refers to the metal or the reddish-brown color. A lot of people associate this name with the precious Disney movie The Fox and the Hound because Copper was the hound's name. I love Disney movies so much. That's a great association for me. There's actually an Australian rugby player as well whose name is Copper Kent. Really fun combination right there, and so very cool athletic association as well. And of course, Copper would make a great Cooper alternative because they're only one that are apart in spelling and pronunciation. My last alternative I have for Copper is Kyler, which is a Gaelic name meaning chapel. I adore that meaning so much, and I actually came across a little girl named Chapel the other day, believe it or not. So Kyler is the surname of the family from the show Squidbillies, which I've heard of but never seen before. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I don't know. Have any of you seen the Squidbillies before? And I couldn't find much the name Kyler, but I really like the sound, and I think it makes a great Cooper alternative because just like Calder, it's two syllables ending in that sound and starting with a hard C sound. Alright, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'm really happy that it's working for me to get some of these videos out. Once again, please tell me what your favorites out of the alternatives I listed are in the comments below, and also tell me what other alternatives I didn't mention are your favorites. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!